Alright guys, so here's the explanation video for the 0-point pop quiz. What we've got here is just sort of a little bit more difficult problem where we've got a base, a weak base. So the first line of the problem says saccharin is a base with a Kb of 4.8 times 10 to the minus third. So the fact that I'm given a Kb, right, that tells me that it is a weak base. And because it's a weak base, I can go ahead and write this general form of my, Kb expression. I don't know what saccharin is, and that's okay. I can just write saccharin plus water is going to be in equilibrium with H saccharin, so saccharin has accepted the proton, acting as a base, plus OH minus. So this is the general form of a Kb equation, and I've written my Kb value right off to the side. This is definitely the first thing that you should have on your page. If you did not write this down on your page, shame on you. This is really, very important that we get in the habit of writing these equilibrium equations down. So, as I was walking around, I did not see every single person with this equation, and you really do need to start with this. So that's going to be the general form of Kb plus OH minus. That's going to be a really important key as we move forward. I also gave you the pH in the problem, 12.19, so it's a basic pH. Good thing to keep in mind. The pOH, 14 minus 12.19 is 1.81, so that's my pOH. And then from that, I can calculate the concentration of OH minus as 0.0155 molar. In the problem, I also gave you that we were using 0.297 grams in 25 milliliters, but that doesn't really help us at this point. We're going to have to come back to that a little bit later on. And then, of course, the end goal of the problem is to find the molar mass of saccharin. So the first thing that I'm going to do is say, well, I need to figure out the molarity, the initial molarity of saccharin. That's going to help me figure out the molar mass given this other information. And to do that, I can sort of utilize this information over here with the Kb and an ice table. So I'm actually going to draw out the ice table, write out the ice table. Again, a lot of us are taking shortcuts and not writing out this ice table. And you really need to. Again, the more you practice this, the more, deliberate you are and organized you are, the better shape you're going to be as we move forward. So my equilibrium line, M minus X, where M, this molarity, is my initial concentration of saccharin, X and X for H saccharin and OH minus. And this X value, right, we already found that right over here. So that is going to be equal to 0.0155 molar. That's my concentration of OH minus at equilibrium. So now I can write out my Kb expression with the numbers inserted. And here on the bottom, because this is M minus X, I am going to write that X value in. A lot of us today in class skipped this part because most of the time, right, we're treating that minus X as negligible. If we know what the X value is, we might as well use it. We might as well put it in there. So I am going to put that in there. From here, I can solve for my concentration of my saccharin initially, and that's going to be equal to 0.0656 molar. And remember that molar is moles per liter. So at this point, I'm essentially got all the pieces I need to solve for my molar mass. The next thing that I'm going to do is take that 0.0656 moles per liter and multiply that by my volume. My liters will cancel, and I will get 1.64 times 10 to the minus third moles. Finally, since I have the moles and I have the grams of saccharin, I can solve for the molar mass, which is going to be grams per mole. 181.2 grams per mole. So even though here along the way I've sort of rounded off to 3 significant figures, in my calculator I've carried all of those figures along. And if you do that when you do these calculations and then only round at the very end, then your final answers will be exactly the same as my final answers. If you round it a little bit differently, like I said, I'm not that concerned with that. So you should get something very close to this. And again, here I've written in 4 significant figures, where really we should just be using 2 significant figures based off of our KB value. But like I said, I'm not as concerned about our significant figures at this stage. I just want us to make sure that we understand the process that we're going through here. All right, if you have any questions, definitely post them, and I will address them as we move forward. Thanks a lot.